Hello, this is Todd Luck, and sometimes happiness is getting to see old friends again. This is a review of Conan the Barbarian number 9 from Titan Comics. This is out right now at your local comic shop. It's available digitally on Amazon/Comixology, and at some point it will be available in trade paperback. This is the beginning of a new 4-part plot line that is very special and fulfills some things that I've wanted to see in comics for quite a few years now. So this is a non-spoiler review, but I will be talking about things that have been released in advance about this issue from previews and covers. So I am going to talk a little bit about what the premise of this plot line is and why it's so exciting to me. And this is a very serialized comic, so this is a good jumping on point because it is the first part of a plot line. But this plot line is tied into what has been previously done in this series. So ultimately, you're going to need to get the whole series to fully appreciate what's going to happen in here, or at least I think that's going to be the case. The Conan titles from Titan Comics are mature reader titles. So that means that you will see a little bit more blood and gore than you might see in your average comic. But what it really means is that every once in a while, they'll show you a bare female nipple. And you're going to see a lot more graphic violence and bare female nipples in this ongoing color series than you saw in the first issue of Savage Sword. And that's basically just storytelling decisions. This tonally has been a much darker series up until now. All right, so with all that out of the way, let's talk about the cover here. And so once again, we just have Conan standing there on the cover. We try to spice it up a little bit by having this volcano explode behind him, but it's still just Conan standing there. Mike Deodato is a great artist, and I love his stuff, but I really wish he could draw something more interesting to put on the cover. So it doesn't help that his last cover, which was on issue 9, was just Conan just standing there holding his sword. It's kind of like he's just doing a series of sketches of Conan just standing there in different positions. As usual, if you want another cover, there's plenty of variants to choose from, and some of them actually do have something to do with the story inside. And I do respect them not wanting to spoil the contents of the comic, but I think that at some point, they got to go from selling this as just, hey, we're putting out a Conan comic to, hey, this is what we're doing with Conan, because there's a great scene in here that would have made a fantastic cover. And I'm not going to tell you what that scene is, but you'll probably get an idea as we talk about what the premise of this story is. And so you'll get a hint of it right off the bat as you open up and you see a map. Except this isn't the normal map. This isn't the Hyborian Age. This is Volusia. This is the kingdom ruled by Kull in the Thurian Age. And sure enough, on that first page of the story, we see Brol the Spear Slayer, Kull's best friend. And this is drawn by Robert De La Torre, who does a really great job, makes him look like a complete badass. And you're on the second page, and you're still in the Thurian Age, but maybe it's a flashback, right? Maybe we're just remembering what happened in the age before Conan. And then the third page, hither came Conan. Yes, kids. Conan has traveled back in time to the Thurian Age of King Kull. I kind of wish I'd recorded my reactions while reading the issue, because even knowing that this was the premise of this plot line, I was still geeking out while reading it. Kull is my favorite Robert E. Howard character, and I wanted to see a return to this time period and these characters for a long, long time. And I am not going to spoil anything else. I want you to experience this issue for yourself. And I will just say that I thought the artwork was good. I thought the story was fine so far. We don't know where it's going, but I have full confidence they have been putting out a solid line of Conan comics. I think they'll deliver on this big crossover. So without discussing specifics, let's talk about the implications of having Conan go back to the time of Kull. So obviously, other than Brol the Spear Slayer, he's probably going to run into some other characters, like, of course, Kull himself, who I don't think I'm spoiling anything to say he does play a significant part in this plotline. Kull is my favorite Robert E. Howard character. He's very similar to Conan. He was actually the model for Conan. He is a barbarian who becomes king, but he is different in the sense that he's a much more philosophical character, a much more intellectually curious character, which sometimes gets him in trouble. And, Howard uses the fact that he's a barbarian in civilization as a way for Cole to question everything, right? To question civilization and humanity and the nature of reality. And it just results in some very, very interesting stories. And so, another really great thing about Cole is his villains. And so, his arch nemesis is, of course, the wizard Thulsa Doom, who has a skull for a head. And I would say that there's a good chance Thulsa Doom will probably show up in this plot line. And yes, Thulsa Doom most likely is the inspiration for Skeletor and Masters of the Universe. Thulsa Doom is connected to a race of serpent men that exist in Cole's time. And they are really cool villains. They appeared in the Robert E. Howard story, The Shadow Kingdom. I don't know if they'll show up, but it would be nice. And just in case you're wondering narratively where the Thurian Age fits in with Conan, so Conan actually takes place on Earth just in a fictional time period that happens before our history called the Hyborian Age. And so in the Hyborian Age, we have all these fictional countries and peoples, and there's a great cataclysm that happens, and there's a continental shift and all of this stuff. And eventually, man evolves again and begins what we know as history for our world. Conan was not the first time Robert E. Howard used that idea. He originally came up with the Thurian Age, which used the exact same idea, and this is the time period of Kull. Now, the way Conan was created is that Robert E. Howard took a Kull story called By This Axe I Rule. He rewrote it and he put in some supernatural elements and changed the barbarian king from Kull to a guy named Conan. And it became the first Conan story, The Phoenix on the Sword. And so all this stuff exists in the same world, just different time periods. So first comes the Thurian Age of King Kull, and then there's a cataclysm. And then comes the Hyborian Age of Conan, and then there's another cataclysm. And then there's our history, which has other Robert E. Howard characters in it, like Solomon Kane, Dark Agnes, and Bran McMorn. And no, there hasn't been another cataclysm yet. Thank goodness, I'm still waiting for Fire and Ice #3 to ship. And so that's how, with a little bit of time travel and a lot of inventive writing, Conan can meet other Robert E. Howard characters. And by the way, this issue does have a really cool 2-page essay that goes into all this in the back. All right, that's it. Definitely picking up the rest of this plot line and looking forward to seeing a return to the time when Kull was king. All right, like and subscribe for more videos. And until the next cataclysm, see ya.